Alright then, hello everybody, my name is Jamie, that's Chris, that's Nathan, and this is Industry Standard. This week we're talking about Good Times, starring Robert Pattinson, a man on the run trying to save his brother from prison. To start us off, we'll go with Nathan.
You always start with me every week, Jamie.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
okay,
like
Chris, you go, so if
No,
that's the
I'll
case.
start.
Okay.
I liked the film. Directed by Saffy brothers. Most famous probably for the most recent work, Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. The film came out in 2017. Robert Pattinson's best performance so far. Most consistent anyway, I would say. But we'll get more into the minutiae, I suppose, in a small bit. But yeah, I like this film a lot.
Well, I agree in that sense that Robert Pattinson, with his acting, is pretty consistent all around. It's definitely like, it's not bad acting by any means. Like I completely understand that he is this character. He's on, like, you know, he plays the character well, is what I'm trying to say. What did you think, Chris?
I didn't think it was a great movie, to be honest. There's definitely some good points to it, which we'll talk about during this episode. But I think I got to the end and I just felt it wasn't an overly memorable movie and something that I wouldn't be going back to watch in a hurry.
I also completely agree with you, Chris. I literally just watched it there 2 hours ago and I'm already struggling to remember the film. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. It sounds like it's my opinion now, so I'll take it from there. Yeah, it's a movie that I felt like didn't really go anywhere. That it was just a lot of things that happened and it just nothing. It didn't really end up going anywhere. It stayed with the brother in the prison and he's getting the help that he needs without the brother, which is a happy ending, I think. But still, like, for the entire film, you're running around with the brother and it just doesn't really go anywhere.
We'll let Nathan jump in there because he definitely
Really
wants to argue that point.
He really does. Go ahead, Nathan.
How are you so consistently wrong about everything? How don't you like this
I'm
film?
not going to take judgment from the man that likes Twilight.
I don't. It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not as bad as what everyone says.
Yeah, well,
shots are being fired this week.
Hold on, seriously. I genuinely don't understand.
all right, let me begin by saying that I was brought in at the movie at the start. The way the music and the titles came in and the introduction of the characters, I was like, oh, takes me back to some, like, the movies that were made in, like, the late 80s, early 90s, the gritty kind of thriller, is that the word? Drama kind of?
Sure, it has a lot of influence from De Palma and Scorsese.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, do you know what, this is going to be pretty good. But I just, by the time I got to the end of the movie, I was like, it was nothing that I haven't really seen before. And even though it's probably unfair to say this without having an example ready to boot, but I feel like there's better movies that do this type of genre better, or this type of a story better, with the brother and the mentally disabled brother being influenced.
For our listeners, Nathan was making it very clear that he disagreed with his face there while Chris was talking.
I just don't understand. Were you ever bored? Like, were you ever bored during the film?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. That is the most insane thing you've actually ever said.
Right. Okay.
When were you bored? Because this film is like having a panic attack. It's constantly moving.
It is, but going nowhere at the same time.
I can't.
No, I can't. I can't see why you'd be excited by a bland movie like this.
A bland film? What?
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie is set within, less than 24 hours. That is the whole movie, and it's just...
To be fair, I do have, like, some criticisms of the film. I don't think it's a perfect film. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's bland. You know... I
don't think it's exciting. I don't think it's paced well, and I don't think the characters are overly interesting, other than Benny's. Just the rant.
Yeah,
what about the last character that we get introduced to, where Benny gets mistaken for Rob? I mean, like, that was just so.
Okay, we need to slow our roll.
While that was happening, since it's been brought up, while that scene was happening and, like, he took him onto the wheelchair, the entire time, right, the bank robbery at the beginning, like, he was going into the hospital and breaking out your man, it all seemed too easy. You know what I mean? Like, them passing notes and them walking out. I know it went wrong at the end, but, like, the whole thing going forward, it just seemed really easy. and then you find out that breaking out the wrong person out of the prison. And I just felt like it was
a hospital. It was a hospital. So clearly you didn't.
sorry, not prison, hospital. My bad. Sorry, not the prison, hospital. My bad. But anyway,
I don't really mind He Who Dares. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I mean, it's not implausible that that they just put one guard outside a room, and that doesn't bother me that things just seemed a bit easy, because like he was a man on a mission. He took the chances when the chances were in front of him to take, and he got away with it. Well, and because at the end he got caught so easily at the end because they were so stupid to go to your man's apartment, the security person's apartment and stuff like that. So I never point was like, oh, well, that's not realistic, or that's not, plausible, or what.
They very much set up, like, at the beginning of the film, that Robert Pattinson's character, is it Connie, I think, is dumb as shit.
Yeah,
like,
he's a fuck up
moron. So in terms of plausibility, I don't really know what you're talking about. I think everything that he does in the film makes sense because he's such an idiot. I'll be honest, I'm kind of flabbergasted that neither of you really like this film.
well, look, I didn't say I hated it now. It's just like, it's not a horrible movie by any means. It's just, I don't think I'll watch it again.
Well, I didn't come away saying, well, that was a waste of an hour and 40 minutes of my life. I just don't think anything memorable or exciting happened that made me go, oh, well, that was a good movie, or, Jesus, I'm going to have to recommend that to the lads because they'll enjoy that. I just kind of went, meh, it was... Yeah. I think, like, again, as you said there, Nathan, that you have bits to criticize. I do have bits that I thought were good about the film, but I'm just stating the fact that I didn't think it was great.
We'll get into more of the details in a few minutes, obviously, but you keep saying you didn't find the film exciting, and I don't understand.
No.
Okay, what was exciting? What excited you, Nathan?
But every scene where he was like
Jesus
on
Christ.
the run, where he was trying to get somewhere, everything was so tense throughout the whole film.
Didn't come across that to me.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Have both of you seen? You've both seen Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This the Saffy brothers' latest film. What did you like that?
Good film. Yeah, good
Brilliant
film.
film. Yeah.
If he had not seen Uncut Gems, do you think you would have liked this more? Because I think Uncut Gems in a lot of ways is a more refined version of this film.
Maybe. I mean, I can't really answer that question because that's not how it went, but like, I never got that same feeling that I got watching Uncut Gems. Like, I don't know if that's because I'm very fond of Adam Sandler and I'm willing to give that my entire attention, so I will enjoy it more than the average person. But no, for this movie, it just did not speak to me as well as that did, and I'm assuming that's why you're very passionate about it. Well, passionate being a strong word. You seem to have liked it a lot, and you're comparing it to Uncut Gems, which tells me you liked it.
I'm a fan of the Safdies, so obviously I'm gonna like this film. I don't think they're the greatest filmmakers of all time, but I do think they are, in terms of independent cinema. In 20 years, we'll be looking at them the same way we're looking at Scorsese and De Palma and all these people now. I'm so blindsided that you didn't like this film.
But I'm not sitting here saying that I didn't like it. It's just one of those movies that's right, on to the next one. I've got that down now, I've seen it, but there's nothing really to write home about. It's
definitely, I see what you're saying, Chris. It's a movie that you'll watch once 100%. And then you'll forget about it in a week.
Again, I could be at someone's house in a year's time and they have it on and I'll sit there and I'll watch it with them. There's no time soon that if someone came over and said we'll watch a movie, that's not a movie I'd be suggesting to watch. Like,
so what did you like about the film?
I really liked the acting. The acting was really good. I thought Benny was wonderful as the mentally challenged brother. Not that I've seen much of Robert Pattinson, but especially since we're fresh off The Devil All the Time, I was like, man, this fella's got a lot of versatility to his acting repertoire, and I was really impressed with Robert in this film. I think it's a movie that will stand by him to show that he is versatile when it comes to acting. So I think the acting was the strongest part to this film for me anyway, and really helped.
Yeah, Pattinson definitely in all of his films, well, most of his films, takes big swings. A lot of sometimes he misses. I think it was kind of a miss in The Devil all the Time that we watched a few weeks ago, as well as I don't know if you've seen it. It came out last year, I think. The King. He plays like a French king. He's a villain.
Okay.
But he's just It's not a good film, but he's definitely the best part in it.
Okay. Well, that's definitely credit to him. He's won me over. I'm not saying just because of this movie, but just after seeing this movie, it just kind of opened my eyes a little wider to say, okay, he can do a couple of different characters. He's as I keep saying, but he's versatile in his acting skills.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get locked into another franchise with Batman, because a lot of his more independent films over the last, I suppose, 10 years-ish have been really good, and he's made a lot of good films.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, I mean, like the scenes you see with Pattinson in there, like he looks really good. I mean, like the scene at the scene in the end when he's just beating the absolute crap out of your man with Ben Affleck playing Batman, right? You make it looks like it's effortless. You know what I mean? When he's playing Batman and he's fighting people, it doesn't look like there's much effort towards the performance of what's going on. For me, from looking at Christian Bale and Ben Affleck playing like the Batman, watching that clip alone of Pattinson beating the absolute crap out of your man was the first time I actually saw actual effort coming out of the Batman beating the shit out of someone. Sorry, excuse my language. No, we're talking about Robert Pattinson, but it's
but actually, because you brought up fight scenes, I'll just get into one of, I think it might be, it's up there. One of like the few things I didn't like about this film was the fight scenes, and it wasn't because of the action necessarily or even the editing. I thought the Foley was really, really bad. There was no, I didn't find there was any punch behind.
Talking about audio, man, I really did not enjoy a lot of the music.
You didn't like the music?
At points, at the start, the opening title music, I was like, oh, this, I like this now. This is my kind of thing. But there was at points there that I thought the electronic score was
It's
way
very synthy,
over the top. Just at points, it was annoying. I was like, okay, you're actually pulling me out of the scene rather than having me invested in it.
Well, I will concede that, because I'm not going to defend that one way or the other, because I'm just a big fan of synth music in films.
I am too. As I said, there was points where it fit. There was at points where it was right, and I did enjoy it. But there was times there I was like, it hasn't helped the scene in any way, and if anything, it's actually pulled me out of it, because I'm actually finding the sound annoying or just over the top. And I'm disappointed to say that, because I love my electronic music. I like my electronic scores. I felt at times that it didn't fit this film.
It won Best Composer. Daniel Lupentine won Best Composer at Cannes.
Good for him.
So, maybe Chris...
No, well, like, that's only an opinion as far as I'm concerned. And they could have brought that down where they said, oh, that's different and interesting, and we like the take that you did on this. And to me, I felt it didn't fit. For a lot of the film, I think it didn't fit.
I think that the synth sound captured the cityscape really well. Just between the look of the film and the setting of the film, I just think the synth worked very, very well. And you could have in another film you would use drums, but because of the look of this film, because a lot of it's not quite neon, but there's a lot of reds and very cold blues. I just thought the synth music fitted really well.
I agree with you on that point, but I just felt there's times there that it went surpassed that if they had just toned it back a bit or cut it a little thin at points, it would. I think it would have fitted better. Again, that's just my opinion. I could probably do it watching the film again, but I just I say it every week. If there was a points where they were trying to create uncomfortableness or tension, that didn't come across to me sometimes.
Again, I kind of disagree, because I think, especially in a lot of the very tense scenes, you have the synths rising with the tension. I think it added to
and
the
I
scenes
think
a
it
lot.
was the wrong synth note or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I'm sorry, and that's coming from someone that is very into his electronic music and sounds, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it fit a lot of the movie.
Can we talk a bit more about the story for a second? So what specifically didn't you like about the story?
I understood what it was. You know what I mean? Like there was no like misconception of what the story was. You understood that he was trying to break out his brothers, trying to get the money in order to break him out, which is fine. It didn't really go in a direction that I didn't exactly expect for it to go. You know, like the second the guy that found out that, you know, that when we found out he had like this acid that he could get and it was worth so much money, that of course he'd go down that route to sell it, you know, and get that money. So it's just, I suppose the only time like it actually went somewhere I didn't expect it to go is when your man climbed out the window and then dropped.
Yeah.
It looked like he was running away from his friends from my point of view, because he looked at the... Yeah, he was trying to escape. But it looked like to me that he was running from his friends going up the building rather than the cops chasing after Pattison. But yeah, as I said before, the story, it just felt like it wasn't really going anywhere. It didn't really do much for me.
Well, I thought it was one of the most predictable movies in nearly every aspect I've watched in quite a while. I knew that straight away that there was going to be something in the bag after the bank, some sort of I thought it was going to explode with paint, but what we got was red mist. Straight knew that was going to happen. I had a hunch. I was like, don't tell me he's after getting the wrong person out of the bloody hospital now, because your man was just so well bandaged up and like that. I was like, is that really what's going to happen now? And it did. Off the top of my head, your man, as soon as your man's opened the window, I was like, well, he's going to fall anyway. And I was like, this movie is probably, if this is the way I think it's going to go, the movie is just going to end with Robert being caught and the brother being released free. And that's exactly what we got. So when we got to the end of the movie, that's kind of what I mean by being an unmemorable, forgettable movie, because it's just, I already knew everything that was going to happen in it. Like,
you've both brought up the predictability of the film.
Yeah.
That, I feel like that's the point. The point of the film is that it's predictable, because he's such a fucking idiot. He's a moron. Connie is an idiot. Everything he does, you know, is bad. You know every decision he's making is wrong, because he's a fucking moron. That is the point of the story. It's supposed to be predictable. You're not supposed to be as stupid as Connie is. And if you are as stupid as Connie, you probably didn't really like the film. No, sorry, that's not.
I'm about to take the first bus up to Limerick and pull you outside, my friend.
No, sorry. I don't live in Limerick.
No,
but you understand
I get
what
what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying. I think you're wrong. I think to me it was lazy writing. I think it's a lazy written film.
If listening to you, Nathan, it sounds like someone going into an art gallery, looking at a painting and this is how it made me feel. This is what every curve means.
No, but that's
it's
literally the point of the film.
They're all morons, which makes it like I think that's why only a moron will like this fucking film and relate to it. His girlfriend's a fucking moron. His brother is mentally disabled. He's a moron. The fella they pick up is a fucking moron. Oh, they're all idiot characters, like.
So what you're saying is it's a real story.
I mean, it depends.
If
If that's how you want to look at it, like.
That's it, though.
Okay.
Oh, there's people as dumb as fucking paint. I have met those characters in the film. I have met in real life, and I have dealt with in real life. But that doesn't mean that they're interesting and makes for a good film, like.
I'm just not getting it. I just don't understand how you didn't find like almost every scene in this film exciting.
Because it's not exciting.
How it didn't get your
I
heart
think
racing
only
at least a small bit.
Nah.
An uneducated, anxiety-filled person would probably get that from this film.
Man, these people are out for blood this week, lads.
I'm only joking.
Shots are being
I'm
fired
only
left,
joking.
right, and centre. Woo.
I do love to see it. I wish the audience could see the face expressions this man is making in front of me.
It hurts me more. It hurts me more that you didn't like the
It
film
hurt
than
that you
what
didn't
said
like
too.
the devil all the time in any way. So.
I didn't say that. I liked
No,
some
he
parts
didn't. He
of the
said he enjoyed the acting. He liked the accents that they were doing.
He did not
that
enjoy
saved the
that film, and
for
I
him.
did not enjoy this film.
film. Oh, yeah, okay. So cinematography, Chris, at least.
It was
Can
good.
you give me that?
It was
very good.
I think. Do you know? I think. I liked the tight shots of the characters to really express and again it's the acting that saves this film, to really express what the characters are feeling in that moment or in that scene and stuff. If you're like, there's no way I could compare the cinematography for this to last week's Arrival.
Well, they're two completely different things.
I know, but like
Arrival used a lot more flat lighting.
this and this was more gritty and
Well, it was and the lighting was a lot more harsh. Yeah, it used a lot of reds and very cold blues, especially in the hospital. What I'm saying is, I will take a step back and I will say maybe this film just does a lot more of the stuff that I like in films like this, and that's why I enjoyed it more.
I think the movie is quite experimental, and they're trying to incorporate.
Sure, yeah, there wasn't even really a script.
Yeah.
A lot of the dialogue was improvised, except I think Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie were the only two in actual script with dialogue. Oh, can we talk actually about Benny Safdie for a second?
Yeah, of course. Because I think this movie is definitely a credit to the man. But also, I think he's too involved with the movie as well, and maybe that could have been a problem. He's editor. He's
no, he's not. I don't think he is.
He's editor. He's director.
Is he? Okay,
and
but
he's actor.
But his brother's director and writer.
He's co-director with his brother. He is the editor of the film.
Yeah.
He's
one of the editors.
His brother is co-writer with another person.
Yeah, but there's two editors.
Well, he's the main editor.
I don't think he is.
100%, because I had to check it up because I wanted to because I actually quite liked the editing of this, and when I seen that he edited, I was like, oh, so he acted, he was co-director, and he was the main editor, and I was that's what made me go, well, you're the opposite with me, so you're probably already there. Even though I wasn't fully invested in this film, and I don't hold it in such a high regard. Compared to you, but I don't think
hold that. I don't hold it in like a special high regard.
It does show people like Benny could be the future of film.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. This feels like a very early Scorsese film. I would rather watch this than something like John Wick, which I think tries to do a lot of stuff similar.
John Wick 1 or the other ones?
But it doesn't matter.
There's two. They're completely different things here. We've had that argument
all
before.
The goddamn same. They're all the same. Do you understand what I'm saying though? Like they are definitely future.
Totally different. Yeah, totally. Like, I think it could be a generation thing as well. I'd love to have someone my age or older as well who have dealt with these. And I'm not saying that you haven't watched them. I just think it's different from when you grow up. When you grew up watching these, I've seen a lot of this type of movie, this genre, this grittiness from the 90s and stuff like that.
Oh, sure, like heat and stuff.
Pardon? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly, stuff like that. And I felt that those stories were told better than what this was. Maybe it's not even the story, because the story is not an issue. Maybe it's an issue for me because I've kind of seen this kind of stuff done before.
There's only one other film that I could think of that's similar to this, but can you think of another one?
That's why I said why it's unfair for me to come in with a statement like that without an example to boot. I just know, because I lived on these kind of movies. Do you know, whether it's Gone in 60, I know that's not totally gritty or anything like that. Gone in 60 Seconds with the brother trying to bail the other brother out.
It's trying to be a very. They're both trying to be tense films.
You've got Blow, where you've got similar kind of characters, ups, all that kind of stuff. I grew up in a lot of those kind of movies, and I know there's much better examples out there, but I've just, I come away from those movies going, well, they're nearly instant classics, or at least will hold up for quite a while and stuff like that. I just didn't get the feeling with this.
I agree with you. It's not like a classic, and I hope it didn't come across that I was saying that. But the film that I think it compares most to, in terms of structure, it's tonally very different. But the film that it compares best to is a film called After Hours. It was one of Martin Scorsese's earliest films. I think he might have done it after Raging Bull. I'm not 100% sure. But it's very similar. And no one seems to remember that film.
I have definitely seen it years ago, and I can't. You could throw it on now, and it will start flooding back to me. But I can't. I've definitely seen it.
Very similar to this film. It's comedy. Takes place one night in New York City. It's a guy running around the place, around the New York boroughs. Very good film. It's not remembered for some reason, even though I would say it's probably one of Martin Scorsese's best. So that's kind of where I'm saying that it's like a very early Scorsese or De Palma.
Yeah,
it's showing a lot of their the Safdie brothers, showing a lot of their taste, and again we see that taste developed in Uncut Gems.
I can see it maybe being a movie that will be more appreciated
when you're looking back in their career 20 years from now.
Yeah, say,
Yeah.
oh well, this, he always had talent. He always, was capable of producing. That he was always creative with what direction he wanted his movies to go and stuff like that.
Just by the way, you keep saying he. There's two of them.
Sorry, well, yeah. Sorry, I keep
There's
thinking,
Josh
thinking a
and
bit.
Benny.
Yeah, the brothers. They have a particular style of movie.
Was it talking about Benny or Josh before we got sidetracked?
I think we were
Benny.
talking about
We were
Benny.
talking about Benny. So I know you kind of went off and you spoke about he's directing and then being involved in a number of other departments. But I thought, just purely as an acting, I thought he was fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
this is the second time. This is the second time I've seen this film, and for whatever reason, this was the time that I was just completely blown away by him.
Seeing his performance from like the beginning to when we don't see him anymore, and even when he's in the prison, getting himself into trouble, I've never seen him act before, and I'm assuming he has in some other things.
I was just gonna ask Nathan, have myself and Jamie seen him in anything else? Because I don't know anything off the top of my head.
I don't think so. The only other thing I can think off the top of my head is he did a short film with Adam Sandler at the same time that they were doing Uncut Gems. I think it's about 10 minutes long, but it's about like two clowns in New York City, kind of these street performers. Yeah. And like they're fighting over space. It's I'd recommend watching it.
I might have seen that.
I think we might have watched it together in one of the editing suites or something.
But anyway, what I was saying, like from his performance, I actually I've never seen him before. So my initial thought to seeing his performance was they just brought a handy capable actor in to play said role because he just blew it out of the park, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah. There's a very stereotypical way that you could play that role, like Leonardo DiCaprio in what fucking film was he in? Whatever it was. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. There is a stereotype.
Rain Man.
Well, yeah, it's problematic to say the least. But you know what I'm saying, that there is a very stereotypical way to play that type of character with a mental disability that I think Benny Safdie really brought a lot of weight to it. I know it sounds weird, but I believed him in that role, that he might have been someone that was like mentally,
I would
abled.
compare it to John Malkovich in what's it called? It was Of Mice and Men. Yeah, I would 100% compare him to that performance because he was just that good.
It's a he's not in the movie a whole lot. He's really only in maybe the first two scenes and then the last scene. He has a couple of smaller, very small scenes mixed in, but I just, whatever it was about watching it this time, I just thought he was incredible and
he definitely stood out.
Very unsung about like performances.
No, I totally agree. Anyway, I was really impressed and enjoyed Benny's performance in this film for sure. I did, when he fell through the window. It looked a little silly, but
well, I think that's supposed to reflect more poorly on Robert Pattinson's Connie, that he didn't, But yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Robert stood out very well as well in this film. So kudos to the two boys. They could probably collaborate again in the near future.
It was actually Robert Pattinson's idea to not make this film, but to make a film with the Safdie brothers, because he saw their first film, Daddy Longlegs, and he liked a lot of this. Is similar to this film. He liked a lot of the cinematography and how they lit their scenes, and that's why he decided to make a film with them.
If we're going talking about lit scenes as well,
It's lit, man.
It is lit. The hospital scenes, inside in the car, everything's just very well done. I really liked when they're inside in the room and he's just after dyed his hair, shirt off, and
I love that. I love things
all
like that.
It was just beautifully lit, beautifully shot.
Do you know the room when he's in with the loan shark or the bail bonds person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bail
I
bond,
had loans in my head. But yeah, in that room alone, it was very, very well shot. The lighting and everything, it just looked really nice to me.
Did you not? Maybe you didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to keep harping on about it. I just don't like a scene like that, especially in the bail bonds room, because you brought it up, Jamie. It was so tense because it was shot so close, and like the lights were so harsh in that room that it was kind of disorientating.
Are you on about the part where he brings the girlfriend over to use her credit card?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. And your one just giving out, fighting with her mother on the phone and stuff. Maybe I'm just a dick. I didn't care. I just didn't care.
But that comes down to like that it's being predictable in that sense, because you knew it wasn't going to go the right way. You know what I mean?
I think that was my issue with the film. I think for me, I'm probably my own enemy when watching this film. I was predicting the film and I was getting it right, and I was upsetting myself over it. I was kind of like, well, that was predictable. Rather, like, because now when we bring up the lighting, the acting, and stuff like that, as I said at the start of the show, I didn't think I was going to have much to say about the film, but there was actually quite a lot that I can take away from the film on a positive note. But I think the problem is I just found it very predictable. Your one
Jennifer Jason Leigh, she was also
I've seen her in loads of stuff.
Big thing people might know her from was
she did
Hitflate.
The loser, spoilt, fuck up daughter role very well.
But you can even tell, again, I think this is a credit to Robert Pattinson again, but you can tell like he's obviously manipulating her the same way he's manipulating his brother.
Just like his explanation of what happened, how it was all his fault, that he lashed out.
There's subtle things in the film just to show how much of a shithead Robert Pattinson's Connie is. Like he tells his brother that after they rob the bank that they're going to go to Virginia or something and set up a farm. And he tells her that they're going to go on holidays.
If you could just like make a random guess, how old do you think his character is?
27, 28. He's not that old.
He could be 22. He's just rough.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of lifestyle he's been living. Well, we can assume.
Yeah, it's not great. There's another thing because we haven't talked about it yet. When the felon, the guy he picks up in the hospital by accident, when they're in the car together, I don't know what you thought about it, but when he's telling the story of his first day out of prison, I really like that scene because it's like a short film within a film.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's because it's played off like really quickly, and as he's saying it, you know what I mean? Like it never drags the whole point, you know, and it does work. I did like that part of the film. And then when it cuts back to the actual film and he's not even listening, he's just typing in stuff on his phone. I can agree with you on that one. That part of the film is actually pretty decent.
Look, guys, all I'm saying is it sounds like you're agreeing with me on a lot of things.
I like that kind of stuff. But again, I didn't care about the character, and I didn't really care about his story. This is a personal choice. I think if it was a bit more snappy with his first day out of prison, I
think the biggest takeaway from you can tell me I'm wrong, Chris. I genuinely don't know. I'm just guessing. You kind of need like a likable protagonist.
A likable protagonist.
Because Connie, like Robert Pattinson, is unlikable in this film.
I can think that someone plays a character and acts really well, but still have no interest in the character that they're playing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just.
You need to like the character to like the film.
Well, I don't
That's what
have
I'm
to like the character. I can
enjoy
hate a character and still enjoy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can hate like Darth Vader, but he's a great character. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly, and that's so yeah. So but when you ask me, so you're asking, do I just have to connect with the character?
With the main protagonist of the film.
Well, yeah, I think that's essential for it. I think you should either really hate them and want to see their comeuppance, or like them and want to see them persevere. I think that they're the only two options, really, in my opinion. And I didn't get that with the character.
Okay. I think that's maybe the main problem. What about you, Jamie?
I don't think so initially, because with your like Darth Vader example, nothing else is coming to my head to like imagine a character that I hated that I in a film that I actually enjoyed. But I don't think so. But I'd have to watch another film to actually know.
Well, it's like you've seen No Country for Old Men.
True. Okay, so yeah, no, because I actually like that.
Like Anton Sugar and Josh Brolin's character are fucking terrible people, and you don't like them, and you don't even necessarily want to see them succeed. But it's you can still connect to them. Well, you can connect to the story and what's happening in the story. Yeah. So I think maybe that's the thing that at least me and Chris are probably more disagreeing on than anything else. Is that I don't necessarily need a likeable protagonist in the story. Chris maybe needs that a bit more than I do.
I probably, like, if you had shown me, if this was a movie that came out when I was early in my teens or young 20s, I'd probably have a different opinion, to be honest. I feel at this stage of my life that I kind of want more out of.
You want to see people you can connect with.
Maybe it's just a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe it's fair to say, if I don't get that, if you give me someone who overacts but still delivers, I can still connect a bit more.
Yeah, no, I think that's a lot of what our differing opinions are in this film, more than anything else to do with production or even story.
I'm also a dickhead for watching something at a later stage and going, I don't know why I was so harsh on that. I actually did enjoy that.
We're all guilty of that in some cases.
I also do the opposite as well, where I watch something depending on my surroundings or whatever and enjoyed it and said, oh yeah, that was good, and then watched it a couple of months later at home or in my living room or whatever and gone, that is a shit movie. Why did I like that a couple of months ago?
Yeah, sure. It's like watching a scary movie with a bunch of friends. You have fun, like, it's a good time if you're with a bunch of friends. But if you're watching by yourself, it's boring as fuck, like.
I suppose. I remember, I'm going to admit something that I hate to admit, but I remember when I went to watch Suicide Squad in the cinema, and we were so hyped to go see it, and we went to the cinema and we watched it, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good, yeah, that was a good movie, enjoyed that. And of course, a couple of months went by, and I watched it at home, my own living room, and I went, this is the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen in my life. Do you know, like, so what? And I can't. Was it the company? Yeah. As you said there, but it was because I was in the company with the friends. It was at the weekend of the Dublin Comic Con. I suppose we were just in that frame of mind. We wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But when I sat down and broke it down and watched it at home, I was like, this is not a good movie. This is not. I will never watch this movie again.
Funnily enough, I had the same experience with Batman vs Superman, because I was with my friends watching it in the cinema at 12 o'clock, midnight showing, literally watching it. And we loved it at the time, and then a couple of times flew by, and then I was sitting there watching it by myself one day, and it just was not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, to be fair, you have a lot of reactions like that. You tried to tell me the last Star Wars film was good.
The what?
So.
The what?
You tried to tell me the last Star Wars film was good.
I don't. Okay.
You did.
No, I'm not taking back what I said, because I actually did enjoy that film. I watched it back again, and I actually enjoyed it.
This is fucking. Do you know what? You're doing something to my mind right now, Olivia. Chris had a better reaction watching Suicide Squad than he had with Good Time, and Jamie, you're trying to tell me the last Star Wars film was good.
I didn't say literally. Okay, this is what you're saying about Twilight. All right,
that's an unfair presentation.
Mad.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking with you, Chris. I'm not joking with you.
Come on now. Just because I like superhero films doesn't mean my opinion means nothing.
Out of interest, what do you think the budget was in this film? Consider now it has Jennifer Jason Leigh and Robert Pattinson. Especially Pattinson's a pretty big star.
Oh, I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. 15 mil.
Okay, Jamie, do you have a guess and stop looking it up?
I'm gonna take a guess and say
12 mil. Sorry, I changed mine. 12 mil.
okay. I'm gonna go higher and say 20.
Alright, so Jamie, you're 18 million off, and Chris, you're 10.
Oh.
It was made for $2 million.
No way.
Wow, that's good.
Okay, take away your feelings from the film. Tell me that is not... No, but seriously, tell me it's not impressive that they managed to do this with $2 million.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely. We shot a film. We shot a film a year or two ago, and our budget was, I think our budget was 1 million, and we were very restricted with the 1 million. So to accomplish what they accomplished with 2 million, because there's a lot going on in the film. It's very impressive what they managed to do with 2 million, and the high profile actors that you got in the film.
But you could tell that they wanted to work in the film. If the budget was only 2 million.
Pay cut.
And they're obviously happy to just take SAG standard payment.
We know what they're saying. It's all about who you know, and they clearly knew somebody that was willing to help them out in this regard, like give them the hospital, give them the amusement park,
For all we know, the hospital and the amusement park could have been the highest part of the fucking budget.
Yeah.
I'd say they probably were, yeah, be my guess.
But what I think, I wouldn't be surprised, as what I've already said a while ago about the lads' future collaborating, that they all agreed, right, this is a stepping stone for what we want to do together down the line. So they all wanted to work together. They wanted to make this film, pull it together. I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years' time they do something. They're given the opportunity. They're given the budget of 20, 30, 40 million to go and make something, a blockbuster film.
Okay.
Do you know what the budget was for Uncut Gems?
It was 19 million. I know that off the top of my head. But because you brought it up, Chris, their next project is a TV show.
Really?
It's going to star, and I don't know what the TV show is even going to be like, because it stars, one of the stars is Emma Stone, obviously pretty big actress. The other star, which it's Nathan Fielder. He made like a quote unquote a reality show.
Oh yeah, the disaster artist.
He was in the disaster artist as well, yeah. So I genuinely have no idea what their next project is going to be. If you have Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone in a film or a TV show, off the top of your head, could you even imagine what that's going to be?
Interesting.
And like a supernatural themed one as well.
I think I've read that it's going to be like a horror supernatural thing.
Interesting.
With Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone. So and you have the Saffy brothers. You can't say that they're not at the very least exciting filmmakers because you don't know what they're going to make next.
Yeah.
They're very out there with their style. It's like it's elements that we're all familiar but brought together. Like I keep going back. The electronic music, that was a personal choice because there's a lot of different ways you could have done the score or the sound design and stuff. They went with the synth music to try and create that kind of stuff. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but the way they applied it to the film and stuff was different. It was their own kind of style. It's how they wanted the film to be and stuff. So, and that's one aspect, the sound design, and then the cinematography, as I said before, with the very tight shots of the character sitting on the characters for the emotions to help, with the storytelling and stuff like that. So, and as you already said, that it kind of reminds you of like a young Scorsese with how they're approaching their films and stuff like that early on in their career and stuff.
They're taking pretty wild swings. I would even say Uncut Gems is kind of a wild swing.
Definitely.
Just by hiring Adam Sandler.
And I think, and I think, do you know what the issue is with that kind of a style? And this, I'm talking about myself now as well. People don't appreciate it at the start.
Until later on.
When they look back at their stuff, when they rewatch stuff, when that becomes somewhat the norm, and you're kind of like, oh, fuck it, this is actually, this is very well done. I feel some of the world's biggest critics are at fault of that as well. They don't appreciate what's in front of them until later down the line.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we keep bringing up Scorsese, but you look at The Irishman and you can tell that's an accumulation of all of his work so far. And you could look back at his older films like Raging Bull, Goodfellas,
Yeah.
Casino,
Yeah.
and you can tell that obviously all of them are influenced, or all of them have
Brought him to where he is now.
Yeah, you can see them in The Irishman.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should wrap it up there. We've gone over the hour now. So, are we okay? Are we comfortable wrapping up now?
No, I wanted to tell Nathan how wrong he is.
Literally about what? You know what? You
just
can
about-
say here and say
About
whatever you want.
Everton.
The thing is, Chris, I have the recording. You've agreed with me and all.
Yeah, but you didn't like
I
argue
don't
the
know
point
about
where
that.
like we
we'll see how I.
your
edit the
argument
podcast.
for that it's too predictable is that it's supposed to be predictable.
I knew you were up to no good.
Your
Go on,
argument
Jamie, what
for
you
that
saying?
it's too predictable is that it's supposed to be predictable. That's like that was actually the one
Yeah.
reason myself and
Oh
Chris.
my
didn't
And
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
use the response that he gave me a couple of weeks ago for Devil All the Time. I thought it was kind of lazy writing.
Okay, we're clearly back here again, and we've gone over an hour. But I'm still going to talk.
No,
about
we're
it.
done
If you
now.
don't-
We're done now.
No,
I said
because I've made
because
the
I
point.
already said at the
No,
start of the
no.
podcast that I thought that I'm going to say
Sorry.
what you said a couple of weeks ago. That I'm going to put it down to lazy writing rather than
It's not lazy writing. You are supposed to be smarter than Connie.
right.
Okay. Look, okay. We've already spoken about this. You understand that you believe we're supposed to be smarter than Connie. We're supposed to see this absolute train
hold
wreck
on.
that he's
No,
going
no,
through.
clearly,
I
no.
get it.
Stop. Hold on. You clearly don't get it if you think it's a lazy argument on my part, because it's not.
But
it's the point
don't
of the film
care
that
what
you're
you
smarter
think.
than Connie.
I don't
But you
care
can-
about
okay.
your argument.
But you know that's
I'm not agreeing with you.
I know if I made that argument
But you know
saying that
it's-
it was supposed to be predictable or you're supposed to be smarter than that, I know for a fact if I made that excuse, you'd go, that doesn't make a good.
It doesn't make a
Then
good
why is it
film.
an argument?
Oh, for fucking Jesus! It's not an argument. It's pointing out that it's the point of Connie's story that you are supposed to be smarter than him. You know where he and you were supposed to know at the start of the film when he robs that bank. You know he's so stupid that there's only two endings for him. He dies or he goes to prison. You know that at the start of the film. It's not the point. You want to know how his stupid acts, his reckless behaviour, his scumbag attitude lead him to that point. That is the point of the film.
Okay.
Pointless.
Okay.
I'm
Those
right,
are your closing
you're wrong.
arguments, Nathan. That's your closing argument.
It's not. Hold on. They're not
come on now.
closing arguments. No, you brought it up again. So if you're going to say it's a lazy argument, I'm going to obviously defend it because
Alright,
it's not
fine.
a lazy argument.
Okay,
It's the
okay.
point of the film.
Closing arguments, please, boys, when you're ready.
It's a good film. I don't know what you want me to say. It's not a great film. It's not a perfect film. It's not an instant classic, but it's a very strong, good film.
Okay, Chris?
It's not a great film, or at least something that will live long in the memory of mine. But definitely has some good points considering the acting, but is not something that I could recommend to anybody. I don't want this to be over. I want to flesh this out with Nathan. Yeah, alright, so I didn't think it was a great movie. My opinions could change in time, but for now I couldn't recommend it to a friend. I'll leave it at that. What about yourself, Jamie?
I'm in complete agreement with you, Chris. I can see this film being completely forgotten in a week. It just didn't speak to me. I'm sorry, Nathan. I know you're very passionate about it, but it just didn't speak to me. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay.
It brings nothing
we're-
new to the
no.
table, but it is definitely something that can help and propel the brothers' career, and I look forward to seeing what they do
Yes, exactly.
in the future. But to me, it didn't bring anything new to the table, and for that reason, other than the acting, is forgettable.
I whatever. I can't believe
Okay.
this shit. I can't believe you're just. Oh, I can't.
Look, we're out of time, Nathan, so you're just going to have to take it and be happy like we do every week when
Well,
you
hold on,
when you try and
because
tell us that
before-
we're
okay.
wrong.
Oh, so what's happening here is you're throwing in the towel. I'm not.
Cool. If that's the way you want to look at it, I just want this to be over.
Okay. Thank you for.
I am so hungry right now, in case the audience is wondering.
Okay. This has been the industry standard. Thank you for listening. That's Nathan. That's Chris.
Thanks for having me. Let's end the show as Nathan shakes his head in disappointment.
And we will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye now.